Oh my goodness, today has been a stressful day in a stressful week, and it doesn't look like it's going to let up as we move towards the weekend. And as usual, with real crippling, blood pressure inducing, horrible stress, money is at the root of it. And it's doubly frustrating because depending on what lens you look at our situation through, and I find myself looking at it through different lenses at different points in the day and in the week. And I mean, looking at it through quite a negative lens at the moment, but depending on which lens you look at it through, it could be that these current money issues are completely self-inflicted, because they are. We find ourselves here a couple of days from the end of the month with all our bills, our rent, all our other bills all coming out on the 1st of October, and we're barely going to be able to pay them, just scraping through paying them. And it's not because I got my numbers wrong. The calculations that I did months ago and that I've been constantly tweaking all the way through, they're still right. But there's a couple of issues that are big issues that are causing any kind of safety net we had to be completely wiped out over the next 2 days. And that's a terrifying situation to be in. Luckily, if all goes to plan, it will be replenished within a week. And we'll be back roughly where we were a week ago. But if you'd have asked me a week ago, I'd have said that money that we're expecting to come in would already be with us by now, because we've got documents saying that it will. There's basically 3 issues, and I'll try and be as brief as I can on this. I don't want it to be a big rant, and I don't necessarily want to go through the ins and outs of our financial situation, just give you the headlines. Headline number 1 is one that I think we've talked about before, but it's the fact that although I've left teaching to be a carer for Andy, because of the fact I do this YouTube stuff as well, I can't actually get carer's allowance. I can't get paid to be his carer because I earn too much money. The threshold in the UK is if you earn more than £100 a week through work or self-employment, you then are considered not able to be a full-time carer because you're too busy focusing on work. Therefore you can't get paid carer allowance for the time that you spend caring, which is what Anna's earned previously before she was a student. Now, we always knew I probably wouldn't be able to claim for it, but at the same time, we put an application in because we hoped that I might be able to, because my income through self-employment is very up and down, very fluid, and it's not easy to prove that I've earned more than £100 a week for however long. But if I'm being completely honest on application forms like I'm supposed to, I would expect it to be higher than that, and it has been for like the last couple of months. So we're not getting that, which is frustrating because I am a full-time carer. But that in itself wouldn't be an issue because we've known that was likely to be the case since like March, April time, and we balanced the books. It all worked fine. We still knew we were going to be okay. Then we discovered that we might be able to qualify for housing benefit. And it turns out we might still qualify for a little bit of housing benefit, but we don't know yet. We've put an application in. When we spoke to them a couple of weeks ago, they said it would probably be a week or so for them to decide, but then when they saw how complicated our case was, it obviously became too complicated to sort, and they're doing their best, but they're not going to be coming to any decision anytime soon. So at the moment, we're kind of in limbo about that. We don't know if we're getting any or not. If we do get some, we don't know how much. In theory, if we do get some, it'll be backdated to when I left work, which will be handy for replenishing the lost money that we're going to have this week. But it's not really anything that we can rely on, which probably from about May, June time, when I've been using websites like Turn to Us and Entitled To, and it's been flashing that up. I've been taking sort of the low end of the range of that number and not assuming we're definitely going to get it, but including it in the calculations. And that was a mistake. That was a mistake, Kev. If you ever bump into past Kev, tell him not to do that, tell him to run the calculations without that, because then we could have tightened our belts a little bit sooner, just in case it doesn't come through. But the really big thing, the reason everything is so stressful, is Anna's student finance. As most of you will know, before Andy started refusing to go to school a couple of years ago, Anna was in her first year at university. And I want to get that out there quick, because I don't want anyone to think she's just going to university to get student finance to help pay our bills, because that's not what's happening. And when we've mentioned this in the past, some people have taken exception to that and have decided that it meant that we were just sending her to uni for the sake of it, to weasel money out of people. And that's not what's happening. She was already at uni when Andy stopped going to school, and she had to give that up to be his carer, which we've now swapped roles on that. I've become his carer whilst pursuing YouTube, so she's now able to go back to university. And we did everything through the proper channels at the proper times, and we had a letter from Student Finance saying that she'd get her first chunk of money, and it's a big chunk of money. We're talking like multiple thousands of pounds, and it was due to come in on the 18th of September. We've got that in writing saying it would come through on the 18th of September. Now I know from when I was at uni, from when Anna was at uni before, it's not quite as simple as that. They don't automatically pay on that date. You have to take that letter in, and on your first day at uni they scan the barcode on it, tick you off on the system, and then the money releases a couple of days later. And because Anna registered for uni 2 weeks ago, when she went in and did that on her induction day, we were very much working on the assumption that that money would be with us by now. But it turns out that there's some serious technical issues going on within her university at the moment. She's still not officially registered on the course with them, which not only means she can't get paid her student finance yet, it means it's not going to come this week, it might not come next week. It also means she can't log into the university email system or computer system. She can't log into the computers at the university, and she can't use the university Wi-Fi on her laptop when she takes her laptop in. So not only are we not getting the student finance money that we were kind of relying on, but also she's not actually able to do her lectures properly. She came home early yesterday. She was sent home early. It wasn't a case of her walking out in a strop. They just said, look, we can't do this lesson, you need to be able to use the computers. And it wasn't just her, there's like 4 or 5 of them in our group who are having the same problem, and they were all just sent home. And so they're not even getting the right level of education. So she's mega stressed out, which is why she doesn't want to be on the vlog today, because she's finding it all, it's getting on top of her a little bit. It is really stressful, because basically the situation we now find ourselves, and of course me being an idiot, bought a computer last week. Again, if you're not fully up with the story, I didn't actually pay for that. It was paid for by people donating to it on stream, and I would have been a complete monster if I'd have taken that money from people donating on stream and then used it to pay my bills this month. But at the same time, I know everyone would have understood if I'd have said, I'm actually going to buy the computer just to be on the safe side. I'll buy it when student finance comes in, just so I can use this money as insurance money. But I would have felt really uncomfortable doing that. And ultimately, to be able to carry on doing what I do for work now, well, we thought at the time I needed to have the computer in place for this week so she could have her computer back and do her work. As it turns out, she can't log into the system, so she doesn't actually need it this week, so we could have waited a week, but we weren't to know that at the time. As far as we were concerned, she went in and registered last week. There didn't mention any problems at the time. We were expecting the money within a few days because that's what she was told, and we thought, okay, the money's coming in a couple of days, we've hit the target on the Twitch donations, I think we're safe to order this computer, get that one moved back in, it all fits together nicely, perfect timing. And then it's this week we've discovered it's not actually going to work out like that, and we're, from the student finance, as I say, multiple thousands of pounds short. There's a few other bits and bobs that are adding to the issue that aren't ideal. I'm changing the network I'm with for both of my YouTube channels. I'm moving to a different network for a variety of reasons that I won't get into now. It's boring stuff. But it means there's going to be a little bit of a hiccup in my payment from YouTube this month, and we deliberately planned it for this month because we knew this month there was a big chunk of money coming in for student finance. So we thought this was the safest month to make that change. And book income is down because the book doesn't sell over the summer because it's an education book. So my income is pretty much, this month my income is the lowest it's going to be all year, which is why that student finance was going to be so welcome, or housing benefit if we'd have got some would have been so welcome. But as it is, as we're now, as I talk to you, we're like a day and a half away from my first month where I don't get a salary, so what would have been my payday, and then all the bills come out, and I've earned pretty much nothing this month that's actually tangible, actual money coming into my bank account. There's lots of money being promised to me on the Never Never. This vlog channel, for example, has grown massively in the last month. It's getting the same level of daily views as the gaming channel at the moment. That means if it stays at that level, we're going to get a significant boost to our monthly income through the vlog channel, because the vlog channel has not really paid us any money in the 9 months we've been doing it, but we earn about £400–500 a month out of the gaming channel. If the vlog channel stays at that level, that's a really helpful extra boost of income, but it's always on like a 45-day delay. So that'll be really helpful in October, November time. Housing benefit will be really helpful in October. Student finance is going to be really helpful in October. But I'm stood here now with 2 days of September to go and looking at the bills I know are coming out and thinking, well, that's going to completely wipe us out. My MOT's due on my car. Got to get that done in the next couple of weeks. Dave needs to go back to the vets. And there's no buffer for now. The buffer will be back once we get to student finance. And don't worry too much about us. It's not a case of we're going to be on the breadline. We're going to be able to pay everything. And once the money that we're expecting comes in from the different places, we'll be fine. And the way the budget works at the moment is the replenished buffer and then the student finance that's left, and the book money, when that starts to come in again, that will then cover us through to the next batch of student finance in January. So there is a plan and it does work, and the channels are growing all the time, streaming's growing all the time, Patreon's growing all the time, so we will be fine. I'm still really confident we'll be fine. I've not even looked at doing any supply teaching or anything like that because I don't think it's necessary right now, because ultimately if I go and do some supply teaching, I can only do it Thursday and Friday without Anna having to drop out of uni, which then that would cause more harm than good at the moment, because it's her dream that I'm trying to support her with, and also it's going to pay a significant chunk of our bills as well, and it allows me to do this, which I wouldn't be able to do as well. So many plates are spinning, and right now, and I'm hoping it's just a momentary thing for a day or two, right now it's quite hard to keep them all spinning. It will sort itself out. I just wanted to get all that off my chest, really. I do actually feel a little bit better for spelling it all out. We're going to be fine. This time next week, the student finance money will be in, and we'll wonder what we were ever worried about, because we'll be back exactly where we were 2 weeks ago, happy and bouncy and yay, yay, yay. But right now, goodness me, is it stressful. And doubly so for Anna, because not only is she not getting paid for going to uni, but she's also not able to do it while she's there. She's not able to work on it at home. She's not able to access any of the systems while she's there, and she's not even able to do some of the lectures and lessons. So it's an absolute mess at the moment. It'll sort itself out. I promise tomorrow's vlog will be much more positive. Thanks for watching.